Welcome to the NDIS Provider Growth Journey. I'm here with a friend of mine. His name's Ward Sheehan. Ward, why on earth would you and I be doing a podcast today? What is it about your business that's different?
Mate, I'm different in every single way. I don't have any participants. I don't look after any service needs. What I do is I actually support people to connect with each other, like-minded businesses that will help each other to grow. That's all I do.
So you're like the matchmaker of NDIS.
Mate, it's like a dating game. Yeah. I try and support people to find the right provider the first time instead of trying one here, trying one there, and it just not working out properly.
Okay. So you and I have been around long enough to know that there's a lot of variety in NDIS providers. You've got the extremely good ones that someone like you or I send referrals to all day, every day. Like, yep, we just know they'll do a great job. And if something breaks, you can phone them up and go, oh, what happened here? And they'll be like, crap, sorry, and they'll fix it. And then you got the people who don't communicate, okay, who are just a nightmare, who you and I'll never refer to. And then you got the people who have that slightly shady thing. And usually you can't put your finger on why. You just have a feeling when you chat with them that they're shady. But you call yourself Ward from Ethical Tick. Why Ethical Tick? I mean, you and I know I love to make fun of the word ethical. Like, why Ethical Tick, Ward?
Mate, I've been in the industry for over 30 odd years. And during that time, I've worked with some amazing people and some pretty ugly people. And in the last few years of me working within the NDIS space, I've seen a real big change in the industry. And the focus has changed from participant, yes, we can look at how we support them. Let's check out the budget and see how we can make it work, to let's check out the budget and see if it's financially viable for us to take this participant on before we even look at their needs. So for me, it's the real shift in the industry to change the industry, to look for the good providers that are doing it ethically within a sector that's really seems as an unethical state.
Yeah. So after you've done NDIS, you'll need to go to do real estate and used cars, and then
and builders, mate. Yeah.
and builders. Okay, so the media loves to portray us as a bunch of people who are dodgy as crap.
Yep.
It's not the truth. The
No,
truth is
99% of people are awesome.
that's right. And you've got highly organized, well-oiled machines of businesses who are just amazing,
Yep.
who are ethical, and then you've got disorganized people who are still ethical, or you've got not that great at their craft, but they're still ethical. Like, how do you somehow work out who you're going to be willing to back? What's that process look like?
So what I've done is I've set up a 10 scenario question that you do a self-assessment on. And I'd set that up with a guy that's got a PhD in ethics. So it's not me just going, you know what, let's throw some stuff out in there and see what it's like. I actually got someone that's got a PhD in ethics to build the platform questions for me. And, it's simple things. It's the absolute simple things. Like, you look at what the media portrays, the fraud, the not paying the tax, not paying their staff right, all that sort of stuff. If you do that, guess what? You're running within the guidelines. You're doing it well. You may not be making a massive profit, but as long as you're sustainable and able to grow, that's all that matters, isn't it?
Okay, got it. That makes sense. So what's stopping Dodgy Joe, the ex-builder, ex-real estate agent, ex-used car salesman, coming into NDIS and just giving you the answers you're looking for? Like, I'm sure you've got something in place for that, but like, how do you actually weed out the clearly dodgy from the person who's half dodgy but pretty good at covering themselves?
Yep. Look, I could tell you I've done 100 push-ups this morning. Whether you believe me or not is up to you.
I do, by the way.
Yeah, thanks, mate. Thank you. I look good because of it. The thing is, we've got an amazing community around us in the NDIS space, and you know what? We're so outspoken about participants' rights and person-centered supports, and we want to protect the individual because that's why we're here. And I've recently put someone on that I found out wasn't doing the right thing. I had a chat with them. They're no longer with me. I stand by my word. I don't want people that are not doing the right thing on my platform. I don't just put people on there for the sake of getting an income. I want it to be a really good space to be part of.
That makes sense. Okay. So what you're saying is you use more than just one means of determining who you're going to back and who you're not. And you get this weird network effect where like there's people who back you who I have a lot of trust in. I'm like, well, if they drop a backward, I backward. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. And then what do you see leaders doing that are quality things that are standing out as some of the best practices you're seeing in our industry? Leaders of leaders or people who are just innovating. Like, what are some of the things that you see? Because you get to see behind the curtains of good businesses.
I do, and there's a couple of awesome providers, and I'm going to drop a couple of names. So you've got Ron from Flonac, and he's absolutely amazing. And I've sent him a couple of things in the past for him to support participants, and he's actually said to me, "Look, Ward, that's a great opportunity for me, but I'm not ready for that step yet. How about we look for someone else that can provide those supports?" Instead of him saying, "You know what, I'll take it on. I'll see if I can make it work, and if not, in 6 months' time, we can move it on to someone else." But you know what? We've increased our income during that time.
Yeah, that makes sense because it would have been because he does nursing. Flonac guys, Flonac. They're really quality people because I've worked with them before on a few projects. Yeah, like most people in that game would be like, yeah, sure, send me the participant who doesn't fit us, and we'll try to accommodate them until it gets to the point of just too hard. That's what you're saying.
Yep.
So
Yep.
what did they do?
And they said, look, we're not able to support someone. Let's find someone, and we work together to find someone else. And
Still got the result.
yeah, and guess what? The support coordinators that we went through with that have been referring through them ongoing because you know what, they're upfront and honest. They said they couldn't do something that they weren't able to achieve, and that builds a lot of trust within the industry.
That makes sense. What's another example you've seen of someone who's just they're the real deal?
Look, I think it's outcome based as well. So there's a few people who I work with that when I talk to people, I find out the stories and the successes that they have. So instead of saying, "Hi, I'm Ward from Ward's Home Services, and I do SIL, CAS, and in-home supports," that doesn't say much about what I do. But when you hear about someone that's been working with someone that when they first took them on 2 years ago, that they were sitting in their bedroom 24/7, 2 years later, they're going down to the pub on a Friday afternoon with a group of mates, having a counter meal and watching the footy and having a good time and all that sort of stuff. They're the outcomes you want to hear about.
That makes sense. You actually remind me of Michael and Lisa Cordy from Central Coast, Elite Care Central Coast. And they have a house that's a SIL house that's a football based house. So every Saturday and Sunday afternoon, it's all about dress up in your footy gear, watch the footy together, invite some friends over, eat chips, enjoy. And it's like, as soon as they told me that that's what they do, I was like, wow, there's 1,000 SIL providers, but no one else does that.
Yeah, exactly. You just gotta have the niche in the market to find what works for that individual. And a lot of it comes down to personal experience on the provider's behalf. So you find people like Ron from Flanac. He's got that medical base because his sisters were nurses, and that's where it's come from.
Yeah, absolutely. Or okay, so you see those things done well. It's like, Would help me out here. How do these people promote themselves around the place? I only know how people promote themselves on websites and LinkedIn and their interactions with me, but you see a lot more depth to the businesses you work with. How they
Yeah.
promote themselves around the place as being high quality without self-promoting, because Australians hate someone who self-promotes.
We do, but we also need to sort of swing that around a bit. You self promote yourself without promoting yourself. So what you are is you're a good person. People want to connect with you and find out more about you and how that happens. It's like when you dated your wife for the first time, you didn't sit down and say that you wanted to live in Canberra in this particular suburb. You weren't going to have 2 kids with the names of blah blah blah. You weren't going to drive a particular car. You weren't going to holiday down in Bateman's Bay every 6 months. You weren't going to have a dog named Gary. If you did that on your first date, mate, I don't think you'd be together.
No, that would be pretty accurate. Okay, so what you're saying is when you're trying to grow your business and get word out about your business, what you've seen working is people are just helping each other And over
Yeah.
time, that leads to referrals and sales.
Yeah, 100%. And the thing is, a lot of BDMs are under so much pressure nowadays that they need to make that deal. They need to sign that person up. They need to get it all done. And they shoot themselves in the foot trying to get that referral. All they need to do is get out there and support each other. If it's not the right fit, support it to someone else. They'll do the same in return.
Yeah, that makes sense. And I also see a lot of these BDMs with time constrained KPIs
Yep.
that therefore, like, I think you and I knew each other probably, I don't know, 4 or 5 months before we did much. I just knew of you. But if I keep hearing from this person saying, Ward did this for me, or someone else saying, Ward did that, I'm like, oh, okay, he must be the real deal. You know, like it takes that level of time. Okay. So what do you see as the opportunities that any business could be using, that any NDIS directors or high-level leaders could be doing right now with their staff that are going to lead to a good solid pipeline of more work coming in the front door in 3, 6, 9 months' time?
What I think they need to do is talk about their successes, talk about the real people they support instead of just the services that they offer. Because, you know, everyone offers the same service, but you don't. Like, we've got Jess from Life Lifting Australia. She specializes in young kids, and she does that extremely well. She's not out there trying to get 35-year-old males with cerebral palsy that need a high physical support. She's looking for the younger kids that she can nurture and grow with and support them, and she does it extremely well. She's got that area where she can actually target in on and leave everything else to everyone else that does it better in that environment.
Yeah, that makes sense. So you're saying one of the things is stay in what your specialty is. Now, I actually know Jess because I worked with her on some projects recently, and I know she puts participants first because she cancels meetings with me to work with them. And I'm like, I'm good with that. That's awesome, you know. And also I see that with Jess, I'd put $100 out there that no one's caught her out lying in the last year.
100%.
I'd put $1,000. I'm not actually going to put $1,000, but it doesn't matter what number, you just know what he sees, what you get, right?
Yeah, 100%. Yep.
Okay. So one of the things you're saying is like, one, help people. Okay. Number two, you're saying work out what you're good at, double down on that, do it really well. Don't try and be good at 100 things. That's really silly. What else do you see good providers doing, high quality people doing, that are going to mean that they have those new referrals just flooding in the front door in 3 months, 6 months, 9 months?
That they promise what they can deliver and deliver on their promises. Like, if they say they can do something, then go and do it. If they say they can't, then that's even better.
Yeah, that makes sense. Like, turn up to appointments. The old support worker thing. Oh, my alarm didn't go off. Yeah, good one. You're a comedian. I was being led by.
Yeah.
Oh, very funny. Okay, got it. Okay, and then what would you say to someone who finds themselves midway through an organization without much influence,
Yep.
who want to be generating a lot of referrals for the long run, but they're not thinking short term. They're not thinking, today's KPIs. They want to build, but they're not the one who gets to make all the decisions. Someone say just above BDM level, right?
Yep.
What would you recommend that they do?
Look, I think the thing is they have to sit down with the people that are up top and talk to them about their goals and where they see the business headed. And you know what? If it doesn't align, then find someone that does. Or do it yourself. I find so many providers that I support on Ethical Tick that have worked for larger providers, their business didn't align, their business model didn't align with, and they thought, you know what, I could do this better. So I've gone out and I've started something up myself, and I'm really enjoying it, and I'm growing really well because you know what, I'm good at what I do. I know what I want to do, and that's what I want to give back to the community.
That makes sense. Okay, got it. And how on earth did Ethical Tick happen? Like, if someone came and said to me, Michael, I've got a plan. I'm going to go and charge people a monthly fee for them to put an image on their website, and after a year there'll be huge amounts of people on there. I'd be like, mate, you're dreaming. What? Like, that's not how the world works. And yet you've massively succeeded in creating a way for people to verify that if this business has this green tick on it, then if they've fooled anyone, they've fooled Ward. But in order to fill Ward, they had to fill a whole bunch of other people that Ward would have gone and checked some stuff with. Like, how did you come up with that idea? And then how did that grow so quickly?
Look, I think I came up with it because I was sick of the industry talking about all the terrible stuff that happens to individuals. I'm sick of hearing in the papers about the fraud. I'm sick of hearing about someone's been left in the car while the support worker goes shopping and uses the participants' money for buying an ice cream or their own lunch. I'm sick of hearing about how someone's gouged someone's plan out and there's nothing left, and you know what, they send them to hospital because they don't want to support them anymore. Hear about all these stories, and you know what, it's terrible. It's not what the industry should be talking about. It's talking about success and the wins and supporting each other. It's about growth, and not just for the business but for the individual, succeeding in goals for them. And it's all about bringing like-minded people together to support each other to grow.
Yeah, that makes sense. I get sick of the same things, but I get sick of it for a different reason, Wood, because I know that you've got a bit of a personal mission with this because of your own connection with NDIS for family. But for me, it's like I'm sick of good quality people being knocked by a media who has no idea how amazing they are.
Yeah, yeah.
That cheeses me right off, because if the media knew how many NDIS providers are doing insanely important things at their own time expense, at their putting their own kids last. And I'm not endorsing that. I'm just saying that's how the world works. But there's not much room to go backing out these NDIS providers. They're doing extraordinary things, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then here's another question. Let's imagine if someone's working for somewhere and they don't like the values of where they work. Like, how long would you stay in that? To what extent would you push back? To what extent would you be like, mate, a leopard doesn't change its spots? Like, what would you say to someone who's working somewhere and they just don't like what they're saying?
Be true to yourself. You've got to be happy with what you do. If you're going to work every day and you're not enjoying what you do, then find somewhere that does. Or start something up yourself. Like, yes, it's scary as hell to go out on your own, and so many people have done it. So many providers have gone, you know what, I can't do this anymore. I've got to go and start something myself. Do that. Go and get a casual job doing support work or something else during the time, or completely out of the industry in hospitality or whatever it is to pay the bills and get your business up and running. But be true to yourself, because you've got to live with yourself every day. You got to be happy.
Makes sense. I get that. And that's actually remarkably good advice. And I don't think people get how easy it is. Because on one hand, starting up a new business is difficult. Okay. You and I have started up many businesses between us. And yes, it's hard because initially you don't have the revenue, you don't have the income, and you don't have the influence to go and create. You're not well known at all. So you can't just get work landing on your lap. If you or I needed a whole heap of work in the next week or two, we'd make a few phone calls. We'd be not short of work just because that's the nature of being established.
Yep.
But when you're starting out, you don't have that luxury. So people go, oh, I'll quit my day job and start this, and then I need it to instantly succeed. And all that does is put them under so much pressure. So what you're saying of keep working at, the place that you don't love while you build this thing up on the side, or quit that job, go and start somewhere else while you build this up on the side. Even if if you're washing cars or whatever, get income somewhere. And in that way, you're not starving your brand new business by trying to extract immediately from it revenue. Now, you've run a lot of businesses. What else are your thoughts for someone who's out there trying to start their own thing?
Look, I'd do your research first and find out not what's in the marketplace, but research on yourself and find out what your niche market would be. Because, there's so many people out there with disabilities that require supports. They're not just all in one box that all need the same requirements. So you need to find out what your personal experiences are, what drives you. Like if it's high needs physical supports, or if it's that you want to do some going to movies and fishing with some high functioning people. There's two extremes, and you just need to work out what your area of support that you want to provide, whether it's SIL, CAS, adventures, employment, whatever. You just need to work that out and focus on that.
I've never heard that advice. It makes sense, Ward. Or the advice you normally hear is look at the market, pick a niche, go for it. Whereas you're saying, work out what you love, work out what your massive skill set is, and
Yeah.
then obviously check that there is a niche, check with some support coordinators that you can actually get funded for that and how you'd make a profit out of it. But yeah, that's really amazing advice. Look at what you're passionate about. Um, why do you do this, Wood? Like I mean, heck, the building industry needs someone like you. Okay, why are you here?
Because I've been in disabilities for so long. I've got, as you know, lived experience with my dad with motor neuron disease, and the supports that he got was good for what he actually had, but it could have been better as well in the area that he was. And the amount of time that I tried to support my mum to get the right supports for dad really drove me again to make sure this industry is a really, really top-notch industry. And that's what I'm looking for.
That makes sense. Got it. And then here's another question. You've got a whole lot more time efficient with your business in the last couple of months. You used to spend a lot of time meeting with people, and you still do at an event or whatever, but you moved to a lot of online meetups with people to really have more conversations. Can you tell us about what you did there and what others can learn from that?
Well, it was funny. I was actually talking to you at the time, and I am very technological, and I was spending so much time trying to meet people for referrals and to try and get people into the business, and spending hours out in the day driving and doing so many Ks and everything. And you said, why not move to online? And I went, as if someone's going to just meet with me online. And you know what? It's a game changer. It's an absolute amazing technology to sit and talk. Like I'm in Brisbane, you're in Canberra. Even if people are just around the corner, you know what? They don't have to get up out of their office, drive 20 minutes, sit down for a coffee for an hour, and then drive back to their thing. You can have a half-hour meeting and have it over and done with. It's so much more time efficient. It's amazing.
That's remarkable. So what were the steps that you put in place? One is you had to choose to believe that you can still get stuff done over Zoom. Okay.
Yeah.
And then what?
I changed my. I'm known for coffee and cake, and that's what my thing is. And instead of having a virtual meeting, I have a virtual coffee with people. So I've changed the terminology for a meeting to a virtual coffee, and so I've kept that thing that is my persona on how to meet people. And again, for me, it's a virtual coffee is finding out more about the person. So you're sitting down, having a coffee, relaxing, and general chit chat. Whereas a meeting is all about business and it's all about achieving a goal. For me, a virtual coffee is, let's have a chat about life in general and see what sort of person you are, and let's work together. And then after a period of time, let's see how we can support each other.
Mate, that makes so much sense. For me, because I work for people all over the country, like Darwin, Perth, Melbourne, Sydney, whatever, the only way I could operate is on Zoom. And for me, the magic was having a Calendly link on my LinkedIn, because if someone wants to book an appointment, they click on it, they book 20 minutes. I can tell pretty quickly if I can help them or if I'm the wrong person. If I'm the wrong person, I know exactly who to send them to, depending on what size they are. Took 20 minutes or less, and they've got what they need, and I didn't have to get in the car. And when you started applying this to your work, I was bewildered. I'm like, gee, if Ward can do that, anyone can do that. Because effectively, when people are buying your services, they're buying the credibility of you. And if you can demonstrate that in a meeting online, well, how good's that? What do you do on a virtual coffee that allows people to trust you as much as they would if you'd go and shout at them a coffee?
I think it's being genuine, just again being me, and there's a thing that you promote massively in your business and everything is you be yourself, and it's even seeing people face to face. Like we're still face to face, but it's just through the art of a computer now, and you can still pick up on people's body language and their facial expressions and all that sort of stuff. Whereas if it's just over a phone call, you don't know what's happening in the background. You don't know what's going on. You can still connect with someone online, and that's something that I didn't really feel that I could do. But with the assistance of you, I've been able to move to that realm, and it's an amazing space.
Yeah, happy to help. And I learned that from others, and I hope 100 people learn it from you. That's awesome. Okay, so something that worries me is I don't know what to call it for better words. A school captain speech. People are giving their school captain speech on LinkedIn or on their website. Hi, choose me because here's 5 reasons to choose me.
Yeah.
Okay. If someone is doing that, now you've seen what works and doesn't work.
Yeah.
How would you stop people talking in school captain speech and start getting them to just be helpful and be real about what they can and can't do? What would be your advice?
Yep. So if I tell you how good I am, you're going to look at me and go, yeah, yeah, good on you, mate. Right? But if I go and tell you how good Jess is from Life Lifting Australia and all the experiences that I've had with her and all that sort of stuff, you're more likely to go and chat to Jess. If I tell you how amazing Paul Bryan is at supporting businesses to grow and become the next step from being not sustainable to being sustainable and profitable, then you're going to go and have a chat to him if you're a struggling business. It's like if you go out to dinner and you find a really great restaurant and you tell 10 of your friends, they're going to go and try it out.
That makes sense. That makes heaps of sense. Okay. And then when people find you, because I see the sort of work you do, you go to networking events, but also you are very prominent on LinkedIn and putting yourself out there. You're happy to have a chat with people on LinkedIn. You're not scared to send a LinkedIn message. I don't know why, but so many NDIS people, they think they're too above or too busy for an NDIS message. A LinkedIn message, honestly, it takes 12 seconds.
Yep.
And that's if you spell check it. But anyway, it's like, for you, what works for you? Like, why are people choosing you?
I think because I'm not a threat to anyone. I'm not trying to take their business from them. I'm not trying to be a competitor. I'm trying to build a community together. And when I talk to people about what I'm trying to build, they're going, geez, I want to be part of this. Whereas outside the space of ethical tick, people are going, you know what? I want to protect everything I've got. I want to try and get as many participants as I can. I want to keep that all to myself, and I don't want to refer to Michael's Home Services because you know what? That's giving away potential income for me. But you know what? If you got a community that joins together, everyone's going to support each other to grow. And that's, I think, the thing that, again, I'm trying to shift the thought process from NDIS providers to go, you know what? We're all these people and we're doing the same thing, but we're sort of closed off. Why not join together and support the individuals?
Yeah, it makes sense. And when you explain that concept, I'm listening, going, yes, that's obviously true. But I'm also hearing like what the new provider might be thinking because they've got a real scarcity mindset. Oh no, I've only got 5 participants. I've been working out for 6 months and the same thing 6 times every month. But anyway, like trying and failing, and therefore there's no abundance out there. I can't share, or the BDM who's not meeting their KPIs. It's like, does it actually work in the long run? I remember, say, back in NDIS world, saying 2020, 2021, there was so much work that no one could handle it. And now it's like we've come full circle where there's not much work unless you're really good at what you do or unless you're in some very isolated niche. So I guess what goes through my head there is, what would you say to the person who has been indoctrinated with a scarcity mindset of, but I can't share, I can't exchange, I can't do things for others because they won't do it back for me. What would you say to that person?
I'd say that I'd say step out of your comfort zone. Try and connect with people. And the thing is, you're trying to get a referral for yourself in the long term because you know what? You want to be a sustainable business and employ 10, 50, 100 people and support 20, 30, 50, 100 people in their homes or to get their goals. And the only way to do that is, again, to support each other in the community. Because if you're supporting someone else to grow, they're going to pass that back to you.
Yeah, that makes sense. And even if they don't, if you support 100 people over a couple of months, at least 10 or 15% of them are going to support you back. Even
That's
if the
exactly
other,
right.
yeah, if, and it's a numbers game. Okay. Well, that 10 or 15 people, they're not going to give you one referral, they're going to give you 5.
Yeah.
So then you're like, okay, what if I support 1,000 people?
Yeah.
Well, 15% of that's 150 people referring to you.
That's right. And the thing is, don't expect it back in 5 minutes. It might take 6 months. It might take 12 months for that person to go, you know what? Michael's the best person for me to refer that one on to.
It's true. Because they tried a couple of other people first and it didn't quite work out,
Yeah.
Dodgy, whatever his name is in Uzbekistan does a crap job of websites. Who'd have thought? Okay, well now we'll refer to Michael. I
Yeah.
get that. And I guess the other thing in what you're saying is to not expect the referrals to come to you from the person you helped. Okay.
Yeah.
So before you and I ever did any projects together, I'd referred you to other people based on what they told me about you. So you'd helped someone else. They may not have, you wouldn't have even realized that they passed on the word. And then here am I referring, I mean, what's that called? A second or third degree referral or whatever it is. It's like the person you help may never, you may not realize that they valued your help. You may not even think that they bothered to care. But if it's a numbers game, if you help enough people, well, they're going to tell someone who tells someone. And
Exactly.
that it may come back to you in a different way. Are there any other things that you'd point out to the person who says, oh, I'd actually rather just be all about me? And it's not like it's an overt thought. It's like a scarcity mindset thing that creeps in, right? And we go, well, if I don't make my KPIs, I don't have a job. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to focus on me. Is there anything else you'd say to that person?
Look, I think that the thing is, find out why you're doing it. Because if you're going to be all about yourself and everything, you're not going to grow. You're not going to be able to share everything that you've got to offer with people, even your participants. If you're protecting yourself and saying, I'm only going to do this and I'm only going to do it for me, then you're not going to help someone achieve their goals. You're not going to support them to grow. And that's where you get the referrals from. Because if I'm supporting Michael to help him to get out in the community and to find a job and keep that job, the support coordinator that you've got to support you to find those providers is going to look at you and go, you know what? Ward's done an awesome job with Michael. And they're going to tell 10 of their support coordinator friends that Ward actually helped Michael get a job and keep it. And that's where that network starts to grow as well.
That's right. That makes sense. And the thing is, that network doesn't have to happen in real life. People have this idea of, I have to go to a networking event because it has to happen in real life. You can get more referrals on LinkedIn just by putting up posts demonstrating what you do, how you do it, how you overcome the hurdles in your little corner of NDIS. You can get so many relationships built that way. You don't even have to leave home.
No, that's right.
People don't realize that. They think they have to go to another networking event. When was the last time you left a networking event and came away and went, that was awesome. I'm so glad I went there.
Well, the thing is, I do that a bit because you meet some awesome people at some of the networking events. But how many people get referrals from it? Directly from that networking event? What you do is you actually meet the person there, but then you build that relationship over the time. I can guarantee you that probably 1 or 2% of people go to a networking event and come away and go, you know what? I'm going to refer someone to Michael tomorrow. It doesn't happen.
Yeah. And if you're going to go to a networking event, take your phone, go to LinkedIn, look at the search bar up the top on your phone. There's a little QR code icon. You click on that and you let someone take a photo of that. And then you are instantly connected on LinkedIn. It takes about 7 seconds. Okay. I'm glad you have a more positive experience of networking events than I do, because I haven't been to Stu Paul's Wizard events. I haven't been to some of the fun stuff. And my experience of it is I see a lot of desperation among people, self-serving desperation. And I'm like, there's got to be a better way. Well, I guess help me understand ethical tick. If someone was to go, I want to know more about ethical tick, how would they find out about it?
Look, as you said, I'm very active on LinkedIn. I have Ethical Tick website as well. And I've also started to put stickers around on businesses and vehicles and stuff. So I'm starting to get the name out there. Again, it's all about getting it into the community, because that's where I want to be, in the community.
I get that. That makes sense. And here's another question. So Ward, help me understand, who's the Ward behind the image? Okay. The image you have of you is this squeaky clean, he does everything, he ticks every box sort of image, right? Because how else could you be ethical tick if you didn't have that? But it's like when you're at home on the weekend and there's nothing you have to do for work, what sort of things do you get up to? Like, who are you? Who's the real Ward?
Well, I go to the football I love my AFL and I love the Brisbane Lions. And I'm a bit husky today because I was at the game last night. And I yell at the umpire. I yell at the opposition. I have a lot of fun at the games. I go for a run. When my dad was diagnosed with motor neuron, I challenged myself to run 3,650 Ks in 12 months. And we raised over $13,000 for motor neuron. I love being active. I love gardening. I love exploring this beautiful country that we've got. That's it. I love hanging out with my wife and going for coffee dates and dinners out and everything that everyone does.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's funny, everything that everyone does. Some of these guys are directors of NDIS businesses on the thinnest of margins who have a poorly built business.
Yep.
You're talking in a language they can't even understand.
Yeah.
It's like one of the things I get excited about in this podcast, Ward, is that people can hear that there are more profitable ways to do things. Like when you and I are talking about meet up on Zoom, don't drive all over the place. Or like you're saying, there's better ways of networking than what people are doing. Wood, I appreciate what you're doing. You've certainly helped me out a lot of times. And the real reason that I chose to continue like making an effort to meet you and find out more about you is because, do you remember that cyclone that was supposed to hit up in Queensland about a year ago?
Yeah, back in January. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, guys, check this out. Put up a post that said, crap, my parents are going to be stuck in a cyclone and their house is made of sticky tape. And Wood sent me a message about a few hours later. Hey, do you want me to go check on your parents? I'm like, you genius. You didn't even know where they lived. You know, like, thank you, Wood. I really appreciate that.
Yeah. Well, again, it's about being a good person, isn't it? Like, it's not hard to be a good person. It's not hard to give back. And this is the thing. If I didn't give that back to you, you wouldn't have given me back the stuff that you've done for me. Like, I spoke to you about 12 minutes to get a quote for part of my website, and you've come back with this massive thing, and I've said, thank you so much. And you did that out of gratitude for whatever, but you didn't actually want anything in return from it. And now I've started this course with you, this LinkedIn course, and mate, I'm so excited about doing this with you. And for me being so active on LinkedIn, I know that I can only improve with what I'm doing. Like, I'm only scraping the surface of what I can do. I said before, I'm not very technologically sound. You are. Again, I try and connect myself with people that are good at what they do. Good old Henry Ford didn't know how to do everything, but you know what? He employed people that were really good in different areas, and he got them to do the best that they could do.
That makes sense. And it's sort of weird because I remember when you wanted that website work done, and I worked with one of the guys on my team. I worked out, how can we not do this work? How can we make it so it doesn't need doing? And there was a way that you've been able to push off a big expense for 6 or 12 months, which is fantastic. And it was because it's like, how can I not look after this bloke who cared about my parents? He has never even met them. I guess what you're saying is it does come around. Like, human nature is selfish. I'm selfish. You're selfish. We're all selfish at scale. The truth is, though, when you find people who you know will care about others and your people and stuff, people who are nice to your kids, who pat your dog, you're happy to help them. And I guess that's what Ethical Tick is built on. So, Ward, I love what you're doing. I appreciate you taking the time to come on this and share your wisdom, and keep it up, and good luck on your LinkedIn course.
Thanks, mate. I'm looking forward to it. Good on you.